Hey everyone, my name is Dan and welcome to the Roundup.
My name is Kathy. Last time we talked about Reddit stories. This time I'm going to be telling Dan about all of the trending consumer debt stories that are floating around the internet.
Ooh, trending consumer debt.
And we're
So
probably going to
fun.
argue a lot. Okay, so the first story, I have a question for you.
Shoot.
Okay, so conjoined twins, they have separate student loans. They had to get separate teaching licenses. Do you think they get one salary or two salaries?
Do they work at the same place?
They're conjoined twins, Dan.
Maybe first shift you work at one place, second shift go to the next?
Maybe, okay.
Man, I don't really know how to answer this question, but
They're conjoined twins. They have separate student loans.
do they do the same task?
They have different brains. So if one of them is answering questions, one of them
And they have two loans.
they have two separate student
All
loans.
right. Knowing the student loan system, they probably get one salary.
They do get one salary.
Of course, the government wants double the fun, right?
Well, think about it. Is that fair? They had to get separate student loans,
No, that's not fair at all.
separate degrees, separate teaching license.
It sounds like especially if it's the same degree, it sounds a little weird that the university would charge double. Because I'm assuming they went to class together, right? They studied probably the same thing,
They
if
wanted
not
to
similar
get
thing.
two different degrees, but because they're conjoined twins, think of the caseload.
Okay. I don't know. Are there tax benefits on being conjoined?
I really don't know.
Yeah, it sounds like they got gypped
They had
with
to
their
get
student loans.
two separate driving licenses also.
That I could believe. There's still two. I don't know. It's such a tough question.
It was one of my favorite reality television shows on TLC. It was about conjoined twins.
I just heard of a conjoined twin that got married to one person.
That's who I'm talking about.
Oh, that's these people?
Yeah.
That's even more weird.
That's literally who I'm talking about. Look, Abby and Brittany Hansel.
Yeah, I wish the husband best of luck.
Listen, I don't know which one's Brittany and which one. I don't know which one got married.
They look great. They all look happy. All three of them.
Okay.
All right, next story.
No, dear, we have to talk about this a little bit more.
Okay.
We have to go.
So what other questions do you have in regards to
We have
conjoined
to keep
twins?
talking about conjoined twins.
Okay.
Okay. What is a job do you think that conjoined twins could do together and get paid two different salaries?
That's a loaded question. I don't know, almost anything, right? Besides teaching could be hard because you can't really both talk at the same time or teach
They
at the
can't
same.
talk at the same.
They could, but imagine having two teachers at the same time talking to you.
And I've had that happen before.
I would just be confused.
They're two different people. They're just conjoined
They would.
together.
I would find a job that has double the salary.
Teaching won't give you that. What about
I'm sure.
call center?
You know what? I would go back to the university
Uh-huh.
I got my degree at, and since I paid twice the tuition, then I would approach them and be like, hey, I want to teach here. Give us twice the salary.
They work at a high school or a middle school. I think they children. They're not getting PhD in college.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's definitely unfair.
I just don't think it's fair to them that they're getting just one single salary. No.
Why would their cost of living be double? Maybe if you eat.
No,
We're talking
out. Feed two mouth.
one body, yeah.
Yeah. Different motor skills.
I don't think we're talking about their caloric intake. I think we're talking about their student loan bill.
Also, who cares if what they spend their money on? We're talking about their student loans. How are they paying their separate student loans with one single salary? And they have two different brains, so like they should be compensated for their two different brains. Also, who is the check going out to? Is it going out to Brittany or is it going?
This is a horrible thought, but can one of them fake their death?
What are you talking about?
Just to get out of the student loan. I feel like death is the only way you can
They're all
get it
very
forgiven.
famous, so I don't think they can just like.
So maybe they'll get TikTok rich.
They're on TikTok.
Of course.
Their TikTok in the description. Oh, so check that out. They have.
One TikTok. They should have one student loan bill.
They're literally. It's one body, two people. Look, the picture, right?
I don't know. What do you all think? What do you all think? Should they have two student loan bills?
First of all, I don't think they should have.
Yeah, there's a lot of questions there in regards to what their education is, but for the most part, if you get like gen ed, you necessarily don't need to get your master's degree to be a teacher. You can. Sometimes it pays more.
We're separate. They have separate teaching like, but they're doing one job. Both of them are employed, but they're just doing one job. One paycheck. Exactly. That's my question. Who is a paycheck going to? Is it going to Brittany or is it going for Abby?
If you go on income-based repayment plans and then one doesn't have an income, I guess you wouldn't have to pay anything.
That is very true.
We know a lot about student loan repayment plans around here.
We do. I have no straight answer for this. I just think it's unfair. But I also feel like most of the teaching profession is unfair to teachers.
This is also a 1 in tens of millions scenario. They're on TikTok.
He really does not think very highly of TikTok. Are you in favor of the TikTok ban? Tell us right now.
I just don't get any value out of TikTok.
Exactly. We are on TikTok.
I know. I don't personally. Yet. Check us out on TikTok. You'll see a bunch of funny videos of Khadija just messing with me.
Yeah, he banned TikTok. We're on TikTok.
I never said ban TikTok.
Who wants to buy TikTok? Kevin O'Leary. He wants to buy TikTok.
I would say I met him before, but he wasn't on our episode of Shark Tank.
He wasn't. He wasn't on. How was he? Was he nice? Sure.
Was he wearing pants? Okay. I just remember during COVID, he had this one clip where he's just wearing underwear. I was like, okay, this is weird.
Okay.
Khadija, what's the next story?
Okay. He just had a baby, right? He's
Yes.
a dad now. I have a question for you. Would you give your kid, who's basically 12 years old, which is years later, would you give them a credit card?
No.
Really?
I wouldn't even give him a cell phone at 12.
What if it was your credit card and they were an authorized user under your credit card?
No. I would give I'd consider a debit card and give them like a specific balance on there and say, hey, this is your salary. I mean, I could.
They could start out their life with an 800 credit score.
Yeah.
That financial responsibility.
So I don't think you could actually can you add a 12-year-old to a credit card?
You can add anybody to your.
I think they got to be at least 16 or 18. There's probably some type of. No restriction?
Yeah.
Okay, so why wouldn't I just put my child on the credit card and not give it to them?
You could do that.
That's what I would do. Yeah, I mean, sure, yeah. I mean, I don't think credit's that crucial from the age 12 to 18 or something along those lines,
No,
unless
but they could start their life at 18 as an adult with an 800 credit score.
Yeah, what are they going to do with that credit score is a question.
Whatever they want. The world is that.
Well, that's the problem. If they have the capability of buying anything they want on their credit and they really haven't had the experience to do so, that's the problem. Yeah, it takes time, but I rather teach my kid how to save, because if you have enough cash, let's just say you wanted to finance something to continue to build credit. If you just had somewhat of a credit score and you had a very large down payment for a car or your first place or anything along those lines, you're not going to have any problems to get a specific loan. If you're putting 20, 30, 40% down, it's the problem where you have no credit, you barely have anything down, and no bank or financial institution really trusts you because they don't have any history. But if you're bringing more than enough towards a down payment, I think you'll be fine.
What if it teaches your kid positive financial habits?
I think there's so many other ways you can teach a kid positive financial habits, including them just teaching them how to save initially, giving them a specific budget, playing specific games with them, having them start their own little lemonade stand or whatever, right? Or
Did you have a
work
lemonade
for
stand?
the. Nick and I actually used to shovel driveways and sidewalks all the time, and
Really, as kids?
yeah,
Good job.
we had this one older lady. Her name was Miss Helen, and she would give us like $10 after like me and Nick were shoveling her entire house for an hour. It wasn't huge, right? I mean, sometimes the $10 is worth it at that age, but I remember just her saying, "Don't spend this all in one place," and we're like, "It's $10. Come on."
No, listen, $10 back then would go so far than $10 today.
It would.
I mean, you are
I mean, for sure, but there was, $10 still didn't go that far.
right.
You could buy yourself lunch and whatever or something like
Lunch,
that.
you can't even buy yourself
Go to the
lunch.
go to the mall. Who still goes to the
Nobody goes
mall?
to the mall.
I don't know.
I used to go to the mall, I'm like,
I think it's trending with the Gen Zers.
really?
Yeah. The Gen
People
Zers and the
shop
boomers.
online.
The boomers are walking around the mall for exercise, and then the Gen Zers are just hanging out and
And the Gen Zers are shoplifting.
yeah, shopping.
That's what-
Well, they usually go to Goodwill because they, that's where all the
I love
styles are.
Goodwill.
Yeah, who doesn't?
Yeah, I got a lot of my furniture from Goodwill. What about okay, back to the credit card. What if they had a credit card for their emergencies? Like, just an emergency.
I don't think a 12-year-old has financial emergencies. Um,
Okay, what age do you think if you were to give your kid a credit card, what age would you give your kid a credit card?
I'd probably consider 17, 18 if they already kind of established good savings habits. I think a credit card is more financial responsibility, right?
Okay, so if I was your kid, I came to you, I'm 16 years old, and I was like, Dad, I want a credit card. What would your what can I do to get a credit card?
Yeah. Well, first of all, if I think you approached me and you just said, "Dad, I want a credit card," I'd be like, "No."
No, okay. Dad, what can I do to get a credit card at 16? What can I prove to you?
I would ask you why do you need a credit card? Yeah, so that's the
Because
wrong approach.
I want a good credit score before I mean,
I know I'm asking a lot for my future child to be very financially savvy, um, but I think if I do the right things to teach them, they'll come to me and say, "Dad, I want to establish my credit a little bit more. Do you think you can help me get a credit card?" Or something along the lines. But if it's like, "Dad, I want a credit card," you're just gonna start poking at it like, "Oh, why do you want a credit card? What is it for? What are you trying to do?" Things like that. It's like, "Oh, Dad, get me a car," or something like that. They have to also work for it, right? So, uh, assuming that I would be a co-signer or authorizer of the card or put them on one of the credit cards I would have, um, I would definitely have
when did you get your
them be
first?
responsible. My first credit card? I think I was like 19 or 20.
Really?
Yeah.
I was 24 when I got my first credit card.
Yeah. But I mean,
No,
I still have
it's different in so many ways.
I still have friends that were almost 30 and just got their first credit card.
Yeah, a lot
And they're
of
like, "Oh, I need to start building my credit." I'm like, "You're a few years." I mean, it's not too bad. I've seen worse, but
But the thing is, you need a credit score. You know what I mean? Like you need a credit score.
there's
There's so many things.
yeah, there's other ways to do that, but sure.
Yeah.
I mean, that's really the where you start, right? You either get a credit limit of, a couple $100, like $300 or $100 or whatever that is, or you get a secured credit card, which is even better because it's always backed by the cash you give that credit card company, right? The terms are usually not the greatest, right, especially when you're first starting off, but, you know,
Make it
cre
help you build credit.
creating a balance and paying it off right away is the best way to approach that. Don't carry a balance.
This comment really made me laugh. It was on a Reddit stuff. It said, the best way to teach your kids about credit cards is to serve nothing but vegetables for dinner for a straight month. When they ask why, tell them, we ran up the credit card and now the payment is really high. This is all we can afford until we pay it off, which I think is a good way to teach your kids about financial responsibility because so many of the kids today are so spoiled. Kids are so spoiled.
Yeah, and you're I mean, that comment's kinda like giving your kids a scarcity mindset.
Again, this is Reddit.
So is it because there's a bunch of millennials on there that don't think they can afford kids?
No, I just feel like they've never dated anybody who on Reddit. That's what they're on Reddit.
Can you look into someone's profile and see where else they comment?
Sure. You want me to do that?
Oh, well, at least then you'll know what type of person that they really are, or what type of chats they engage with. But
Oh, okay. A lot of slander
oh,
profile. Oh my! Look, it's a lot of slander. I told you.
what what if this is a kid?
It's not a kid.
Okay,
I don't think kids are allowed to be on Reddit.
yeah,
Okay, I'm not saying kids should get passport. I'm just
maybe
saying
maybe they got burned by their own kid.
his name is Evil Snack. Or they have a kid. Personally, my little sister has a debit card, not a credit card, so she just uses that.
Yeah, at least in that case, let's just say you give them $50 and they try to buy something for more than $50 most of the time, or you can at least have that card setting where, sorry, transaction declined.
And I know we're like supposed to argue about these things, but I agree with him. I wouldn't give my kid a credit card, knowing how easy it is to get credit card debt. I would never do that.
PG, you have some old school like theories as well in your young school
Listen,
self.
are you denying the fact that it's easy or like it's hard to get into? Anybody can get into credit card debt.
Oh, it's so easy. It's so easy.
No, Gen Z has like no regard for their financial future. Like, no, Gen Z are not scared of that. I just read a report today, and the next story we're going to talk about is about Gen Z and their just complete disregard for getting themselves into debt. So, who is your favorite artist?
Picasso artist?
Like a musical artist. Let me ask another way. Who would you spend like $1,000 on a ticket to go see on a concert? See a concert?
I first of all, I'd probably never
Tell me so.
I'd never spend $1,000 to go see anybody.
Like $500.
I'd have to think. I listen to a lot of general music. I don't know, it's probably like an
Like,
EDM.
you listen to
EDM. I like EDM music.
Really?
Some rap, but I don't know if I'd actually pay $500 to go see
Would
somebody.
you go see Kanye or Kendrick?
I like J. Cole probably the best.
Did you hear the diss track about J. Cole and Kendrick?
No.
It's trending today. Wait. And people are like, no, it's really bad. Both of them said, here. No, they said both of them have made that. Do you know why they fought? Speaking in another. Okay, we're gonna discuss J. Cole and Kendrick's beef in another.
But J. Cole has this song called 1985, which is about 6ix9ine, right? Or something like that.
6ix9ine. Oh,
Tech 6ix9ine.
okay, you knowing more than me.
I thought that was a pretty good diss track.
Okay.
But
I know Megan
everyone has their own
Stallion
opinions.
diss track.
But
I
yeah,
know that one.
if it was rap, it'd probably be J. Cole. I don't know, I like old school EDM stuff, but
Would you go into debt to go see your favorite artist?
I probably have in the past.
Really?
I mean, at least probably use the credit card to like just buy it and then pay it over time.
So, okay. So this would be similar to buy now, pay later. A firm or Klarna or Afterpay.
Yeah.
Buying your tickets like that. Would you do that?
I mean, it would never be something I couldn't afford where I could just pay it off in like at least a month or two. If it's gonna take me a year to pay it off, then I would never buy it, especially for that type of experience. But I also haven't gone to a concert in quite some time. Maybe that's due to COVID, but it's been some time since COVID, so I still haven't really been to a concert after that.
Okay. Okay. Now, the question: how much of your savings would you dip into to go to your favorite artist concert? Would
Uh,
you dip into your things at all?
Emergency savings? No. Anything above my emergency savings? Probably a significant amount.
A significant amount? What?
I mean,
Give me a percent.
30 to 40%.
Really?
Yeah.
Not an emergency fund.
But it would probably be like an event where it's like a trip or something along the lines. Like I like going to automotive races, so like a Formula One race.
I
I
was not
would
talking
spend
about that. We're talking about like a concert.
Okay. Yeah, but if it was a trip somewhere, I'm also thinking of festivals or something like that. That's a concert, but just for the tickets solely?
We're talking about just for the
Nah,
tickets.
maybe I don't know. It all depends. It all depends on the dollar amount, and it all depends on how much I have in my additional savings, not my emergency savings.
You have too many savings. Most people don't even have $1,000 in their savings.
Yeah, I was there. I was there.
You're not.
But like again, if it's for a possibly a financial decision, then I'd go even further. If it's an investment opportunity or something along those lines.
It really goes too far. Like you're
Yeah.
thinking my question. I'm asking you a simple question. How much would you spend on a ticket? And you're like, a trip, a festival.
Because I have a hard time saying I have a hard time even when my friends say, "Oh, I spent $500 for this concert ticket." I was like, $500? Like, I don't know. I could do so much more enjoyable things with
So you
$500.
wouldn't. That's what I'm asking.
Yeah,
Like you
and
would
then
not spend $500.
another thing, a bigger reason for that is like when you're in like a huge stadium and you spend $300 for nosebleed seats. After a while, I'm just like, the person is a dot down there. I feel like I wasted my money. If it's a smaller venue, that's something I'd enjoy more.
Okay, this might be controversial, but I don't like. I really
Why?
don't like
Loud musics?
loud music, crowds, and I'd spend a lot of money to get there.
Yeah.
You kept standing around. People push you. No.
I'm in my 30s and crowds is getting less and less appealing, but
Yeah. And I'm like 25. And I like don't like crowds at all. It's not appealing to me whatsoever. But I know a lot of my friends love concerts, love festivals.
who doesn't? Realistically, a lot of people like
A lot
music.
of okay, I really don't know a lot of people who don't like concerts
Yeah.
other than me. I always say no. I'm like no to a concert.
Then what would you spend your savings on? The majority of your savings on?
I'm not a big
That's
spender.
splurging.
I'm like really not a big spender. I like to save. I'm the kind of person who pays myself first. I don't have a car. The apartment I'm getting
Yeah.
is even cheaper than the one I had before.
What do you splurge on then?
I like don't splurge.
Is it, I don't know,
I really
clothing
no.
or cosmetics or I don't know. I know my wife likes to spend a little bit more money on like lotions and things like that, which I'm okay
No.
with, but
No, literally, I haven't been splurging over the last 2 years because of how many bills I have. Another reason why I'm not that. I'm responsible. Okay. I have some shocking statistics for you that were shocking to me, but they might not be shocking for you because you like concerts. 1 in 10 fans would go into if that was the only way they could see their favorite artist. Is that shocking to you?
1 in 10, maybe
Yeah.
10%.
No, 1 in 10. If 10 people are there, one of them would go into debt.
Yeah, it's 10%.
That's 10. Okay.
I would expect that number to be higher based off of some of the people I know.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
They probably put it on their credit card and maybe they pay it off right away. I might be wrong, but it's not a shocking number to me.
A lot of people would dip into their emergency fund just to go see their favorite artist.
Being that like 55% of the US population lives paycheck to paycheck, that's probably not a lot of people that have their emergency fund established. Yeah, it's not ideal, right? But again, I would probably not dip into my emergency fund to go to a concert.
Okay, now I'm gonna quiz you. How much do you think somebody is willing to pay for Taylor Swift? Just the tick.
Like the average, $350.
Yeah, correct. $54.
Wow, off by $4.
Italy.
I get a prize for that. That's impressive.
Do you know BTS?
It sounds like familiar. It
They're
sounds really
literally
familiar.
always trending on Twitter every day. BTS.
Are they the Korean?
Yeah.
Ah, see, I was close.
They have the most loyal fan. They're crazy and they're rabid. They're like crazy people. How much do you think their fans would be willing? Crazier than Taylor Swift. How much?
Are we talking US dollars or?
US dollars. Most of BTS fans are weird, by the way.
They remind me of the NSYNC days.
Or like just like crazy women.
I don't think they're Swifties, so I would say $225.
No, higher than
Really? Really?
Taylor Swift.
I don't really know that genre of music that well, but
I'm just telling you they have crazy fans. A very loyal fan base.
$650.
Now he's just doing too much.
I know.
$500.
Okay, close enough.
They're also young people. You have to keep that in mind that they don't have jobs. Where are they getting this money from? You have to keep that in mind.
Maybe they're rich parents. Who knows?
What? Not everyone has rich parents. A lot of people.
The people that spend $500 for a ticket, they do. But sometimes I look at concert tickets.
The point is that they don't have the $500.
Yeah.
They're kids, they don't have $500. How are they getting the money? They are doing buy now, pay later. That's how they.
Isn't that technically getting into debt?
Yes, it is.
Okay, so that's probably more than 10%.
Yeah. But yeah, how much do you think somebody would spend for Lady Gaga? I think that she has like more older.
More budget, stringent people.
I wouldn't say that.
Lady Gaga. I'd probably want to go see Lady Gaga out of all three of those people.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. What's that movie she was in with? What's that guy? I'm really bad with actors and actresses' name.
Gaga movie.
No, with
Did she win an Oscar? House of Gucci?
no. That's Star is Born. That's a great movie. That's a great movie. Yes.
You know, Lady Gaga was bullied all throughout her life, and people in college made like a Facebook group with that this girl Stephanie will never be famous. Do you know that?
I think a lot of people that get bullied become successful. But Lady Gaga, I would spend $300 to go see Lady Gaga.
So see, would you spend $400
Maybe.
just for yourself? But you also have a wife.
Yes, that's $800.
I mean,
She would really want to have to go for me to spend $800 on tickets.
$800 on tickets, part
Driving, parking. It's just yeah, merch. I do buying merch now when I do go to events. Yeah. Even though I just feel like it's like original clothing, right? It's like you don't get it at like the Gap.
That's how they get. That's how they get. I don't have any. You're actually cooler than I am.
I don't know. Love the comments.
Let us know in the comments.
Yeah.
If you think I'm cooler than Dan, or if you think Dan is cooler than you. It's getting 5 o'clock and I'm about to take past that. So we're gonna wrap this up. Let us know what you think of the roundup episode so far. Would you go into debt to see your favorite artist? Do you have any questions?
I want to know what concert you'd want to go to the most. That's for sure. I want to know what you're willing to pay for.
Listen, if Tupac or like Michael Jackson ever came back.
They had that in the news about like hologram Tupac, didn't they?
No, yeah, I wouldn't go to a hologram concert, but I would go.
Nick said he invested in that company. It's probably not doing so well. It was like a Kickstarter or something.
Funny. Yeah, let us know. I spend $500 on a Marc Jacobs bag.
$500 on a bag. Wow, crazy. So I'm a car person, so that's probably the most expensive stuff I spend money on. I want to say I spent a little over $2,000 on a computer for my car.
A computer for
Yeah, so I can tune it. But I saved for it.
I paid for it too, by the way. I
Yeah.
did not buy my stuff on credit.
Is the bag resellable for $500?
I'm not gonna sell it. I like my bag.
I know, but does it hold its value?
It's a nice bag.
So a lot of like the car parts I buy, you could probably resell for very close to the same dollar value, but I would never sell it either.
It's like a vintage bag, so like you can't get it just at a Marc Jacobs store. Order it.
All right, guys, thanks you for watching. Have a good night.